So, what would you actually do if you died full of absolute regrets, only to wake up exactly 17 years in the past? It's kind of the ultimate do-over scenario, right? Just picture this for a second. You're a battered 25-year-old soldier. You've just watched your entire unit get wiped out. Your mana core is completely shattered. And as you're drawing your final breath on this incredibly muddy, miserable battlefield, you wish for just one more chance. Then you open your eyes. You aren't dead. You are a 13-year-old boy again. And well, this is exactly the miraculous rebirth that sets the stage for our protagonist, Damian. So let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're unpacking this really gripping tale of reincarnation, survival, and just pure strategic genius in a ruthless boy's second chance mastering the battlefield. We're going to break down Damian's absolute meteoric rise from being a discarded orphan to becoming an unmatched tactical mastermind. Now, what's really interesting about this is the staggering contrast between who Damian used to be and who he is now. In his past life, he was weak. His own Uncle Parker actually scammed him out of his inheritance. His mana core was totally destroyed, and he died as a regretful, late-blooming soldier at age 25. But look at his new reality. He's 13, his mana core is completely intact, and most importantly, he still has all those battle-hardened instincts of a veteran soldier. He's transformed into this cold-blooded strategist who can literally read an opponent's muscle twitches just to predict their next attack. It's wild. But here's the catch. Damian doesn't have time to just sit back and relax because he is fighting a massive ticking clock. Right now, at exactly age 13, he's navigating rebirth and revenge. But Damian knows a truly terrifying truth. In just 5 short years, an apocalyptic war is going to consume the entire continent, plunging the world into a chaotic era where everyone is forcefully conscripted. So he only has 5 years to become an unstoppable force before the whole world literally goes up in flames. And that ticking clock? It forces a radical shift in his mindset. It's perfectly captured by this philosophy: crush them completely before they have the chance to return and become a threat. When his traitorous Uncle Parker sends assassins to capture him, Damian doesn't just survive. No, he flawlessly anticipates their moves and completely eliminates them. He tracks down the mercenary leader, Montal, and even confronts his uncle directly. He applies a totally ruthless approach: leave absolutely zero enemies behind to stab you in the back later. So, with his uncle out of the picture, Damian secures his rightful insurance payout. And it is massive: 6 platinum and 650 gold. To put that into perspective, a normal family of 4 can live really comfortably on just 2 or 3 gold a month. But Damian doesn't just hoard all this cash. He's playing the long game here. He remembers from his past life that artifacts and rations are going to become invaluable during that impending war. So he makes a super bold investment into the Hamel Merchant Guild, knowing for a fact that they are destined to become a future wartime powerhouse. With his finances totally locked down, Damian sets his sights on getting stronger. Chapter 1: The Proving Ground. Welcome to the 3rd training camp. Okay, get this. Before he even arrives at camp, Damian gives himself an incredible advantage. He uses the Delft mana cultivation method. Now, why is this so special? Because it's a highly efficient technique that won't actually be invented until 15 years in the future. Back in his past life, a desperate Damian memorized this technique from a book, just hoping it would fix his broken mana core. It didn't work back then, but now it lets him achieve 1-star mana before he even officially enlists in the military. And man, does this preparation pay off instantly. During the camp's 30-kilometer race, the instructors set up this brutal blockade of huge, tough men known as the Wall of Wailing. Most of the trainees plan to just hang back and play it safe, but Damian, he moves through them like a shooting star. When a massive instructor actually promises to go gentle on him, Damian effortlessly grabs the guy and tosses him out of his path like a crumpled piece of paper. He completely shatters the wall, leaving both the trainees and the hidden instructors just absolutely stunned. But during this race, Damian realizes something crucial. He isn't the only prodigy in the camp. Meet Apple Van Streel. Right now, he's just your average commoner recruit. But Damian knows his future destiny. Apple is going to become a legendary Grand General and a Count by the time he's 30. He's literally the ultimate success story. Recognizing this monumental future, Damian knows that forming a rivalry and eventually an alliance with Apple in the present day is a massive strategic opportunity. You know, with all this tactical brilliance and foresight, it is actually really easy to forget that Damian is still just a kid, 13 years old. That's the number that completely shocks his new platoon, especially this muscle-headed bully named Kyle, who immediately tries to mock him. When the instructor suggests they spar to see who gets to be the cadet platoon leader, the irony is just thick. This huge bully has no idea he's challenging a seasoned war veteran trapped inside a teenager's body. Unsurprisingly, Damian easily shatters Kyle's ribs in the match, instantly securing his position as the absolute leader. Which brings us to Chapter 2, the Tactical Commander and Crushing the Platoon Wars. Damian's past war experience instantly turns him into a brilliant military tactician. For the interplatoon competition, he rolls out the wedge formation. Step 1, form a giant arrow to pierce the enemy line. Step 2, reinforce the vanguard, and he uses Kyle's raw Hulk-like strength specifically for this. Step 3, once the front is pierced, target those gaps to cause the enemy's rear to completely collapse. It's a flawless execution that just absolutely dominates the opposing units. And hey, remember Kyle, the bully whose ribs Damian shattered? After experiencing Damian's overwhelming strength and brilliant leadership firsthand, Kyle goes through a massive transformation. He actually drops to his knees right in the barracks and says, "It is only natural to pay respects to the strongest warrior." He pledges his unwavering loyalty to a 13-year-old, becoming Damian's most reliable vanguard. Talk about earning respect. So the platoon wars finally culminate in this epic clash between Damian's first platoon and Apple's third platoon. It is a literal battle of future legends. Apple proves to be incredibly strong, almost breaking straight through Kyle's defense. But then Damian steps in. With a single, explosive, mana-infused strike, Damian completely shatters Apple's spear, securing the ultimate victory for his platoon and proving his absolute dominance on the field. So, the crucial point is how this victory pays off massively. As the first-place trainee, Damian gets the very first pick from the armory. Most of the trainees just grab fancy weapons or heavy armor, but Damian outsmarts everyone. He selects this inconspicuous little ring. While everyone else thinks it just grants temporary invisibility, Damian knows it's actually an invaluable A-rank artifact that permanently reduces the weight of the user and whatever they're carrying. Apple, meanwhile, grabs a mysterious divine seal. Both of these prodigies secure items that are going to shape their futures. And with the training camp officially conquered, it's time for graduation. Chapter 3, The Deadliest Unit. Graduation and a really hard choice. Damian is offered what is essentially a golden ticket. Because of his crazy skills, the legendary instructor Lionhark offers to recommend him for the Knight's Order. It's elite, noble, prestigious, and most importantly, it's safe. But to the utter shock of literally everyone, Damian rejects it. Instead, he intentionally chooses the Neo-Khalitz unit. This is a harsh, deadly outpost assigned to the restricted Bronarian forest, and it is notoriously known for its horrific casualty rates. Why would he do that? Because Damian knows that comfort breeds weakness. He needs to become an absolute monster before the real war begins. When Damian and Kyle finally arrive at the Neo-Khalitz unit, they find a barracks full of broken, hopeless veteran soldiers who are essentially just waiting around to die. And naturally, they look down on the new rookies. So, Damian boldly wagers 1 gold coin against the entire unit. He challenges these hardened, cynical veterans to a brutal stamina test, carrying a massive log all the way up a rugged mountain. And how does he actually pull this off? By being incredibly smart. Damian effortlessly reaches the mountain peak first, leaving the exhausted veterans completely in the dust. He secretly uses that weight reduction ring he picked from the armory. But see, this wasn't really about winning a bet. Damian intentionally orchestrated this whole thing to spark a competitive fire. He needed to inject hope and discipline into a unit that had entirely given up on living. Chapter 4, Threat of the Demonic Forest. The real war begins. All those psychological games are quickly interrupted by harsh reality. A sudden red flag emergency drags Damian straight into a massacred herb gathering camp, deep in the restricted Bernarian forest. In the thick of the woods, the rescue team is suddenly ambushed by a giant boulder, which ends up trapping several soldiers. While the unit commander, Taryn, totally panics, Damian jumps right into action as a field medic. Step 1, he administers the local Amancho herb, which is normally toxic. Step 2, he expertly pairs it with Nemosia fruit seeds, neutralizing the poison. Step 3, this combination immediately acts as a powerful painkiller for the crushed soldiers. He completely shocks his commander with his calm, expert medical knowledge in the middle of a deadly ambush. And this brilliantly illustrates the real danger they're facing, because the attacker reveals itself to be an unnaturally massive, mutated bear. After the commander manages to finally slay it, Damian points out these terrifying black spots on the beast's hide. He explains that this is demonic energy. It's a forbidden, corruptive power that mutates monsters into terrifying biological weapons. Damian remembers clearly from his past life that a magic stone imbued with this exact energy was discovered in this forest, and it triggered a massive empire-wide crisis. So, Damian has walked right into ground zero of a full-blown demonic outbreak. He's got the strategic mind of a seasoned veteran, an A-rank artifact, and a newly loyal squad, but the stakes have just skyrocketed. So I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on. With just 5 years left until a chaotic, apocalyptic war consumes the world, can this ruthless 13-year-old stop a demonic threat before it even begins? The battlefield is officially set, and Damian's true test is really just getting started. Thank you so much for joining us on this explainer, and definitely keep questioning the strategy behind the story.